Pastor Bruce coming to you from the bunker as we are hibernating from the COVID-19 virus. And with this, I wanted to bring your attention to something you ought to be thinking about. Instead of thinking about the virus, be thinking about this memory verse that we have for you this week. It's found in Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 22 and 23. You can see it here right on the screen. Now, Lamentations is a book that's written to express sorrow at the destruction of Jerusalem, of the capture of Jerusalem and the exile of the people. And you can see some of the feelings that are brought up, the sadness that are brought up in these, starting here in verse 19, chapter 3. Remember my affliction and my wanderings, the wormwood and the gall. My soul continually remembers it and is bowed down within me. So think about that. This person's reminded day in and day out of their situation, that they no longer have a home, they no longer have a nation. All that they knew has been taken away and they've been transported elsewhere. And they are remembering it day in and day out, and it's just swirling in their minds. The effect of this really draws you down, drags you down, and that anxiety and that sorrow and grief really puts a hindrance on a person's soul. And as a result, they can lose hope. But then look at verse 21 here. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. So notice this alternative. It's no longer remembering this. My soul continues to remember. It's no longer remembering this, but I'm calling to mind this new thing. And as a result, the implication is when I call to mind this new thing, I have hope. So let's discover what this new thing is. Let's read our memory verses here. Verse 22, the steadfast of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that there are three things that this author is remembering. And you see them in the first three lines. This first line, he's saying, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Then he says, the mercies, his mercies never come to an end. And then he speaks of it in a positive way. In fact, he says, they are new every morning. Now, take a look at these three words that I've circled. These are absolute words. These are, we're told never to say never because it's almost never true that something never happens. But if the Bible says it, we can believe it. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. The Lord's mercies never come to an end. In fact, they are new every morning. Now look at this fourth line. He worships. Great is your faithfulness. That is a sign of worship. And it's all due to what he's calling to mind, that God's steadfast love and mercies never come to an end. In fact, they are new every morning. And he worships and celebrates by saying, great is your faithfulness. And again, as a result, he is no longer sorrowful and bowed down, but he has hope. So take some time this week to memorize these two verses. I know you can do it. We'll see you next time.